Hey everyone, welcome to Seven Figure Annuity Sales Podcast. I am Chad Owen, and then of course we have Caleb South that's with us. And so, going down, bud, going down.
I live in the South.
You still have those Texas allergies, don't you?
Oh, I do. I do. And I've taken antihistamines, and I can't seem to shake it.
Have you got that thing at HEB that says it's specifically geared towards Texas allergies?
Mm-mm.
It works. It's liquid.
Is it
drops.
It's a drop?
Yeah, it really does work. Yeah, actually, I heard that any area you're in the country, so if you're in the Midwest, they have particular things that cause allergies. If you're in the East Coast, the West Coast, and you go to a local place and they often have mixtures of allergens that helps build up an immune system to them. So I used to take them. Yeah, snake oil. Yeah. God, there's so many things I could say there. Do I make any money off of that? I just told you to go to HEB, man. I don't make any money off of that.
No, but that's a good shameless plug for any of our Texas agents.
Well,
it's allergies. Actually, go get you some of that drops.
Yeah, well, here everything's frozen. So, I mean, yesterday it was -3 degrees. So, yeah, it was cold. But I love it, man. But it's a dry cold. It's a dry cold.
Yeah, well, it's totally different because when I was up there a few weeks ago, we were in Estes and it was, single digits, and you go out in a jacket. I go to Missouri last week and it was like 25 to 30 degrees and it felt colder there than it did in single digits in Colorado.
Dry cold is a different thing. Dry cold
wild.
Is, humid cold, basically it's the reverse. It's like in a hot and humid, it steams you alive. Dry, it kind of, it's not even a freeze dry. It literally saturates you and goes directly into you.
It does. It goes to your bones, man.
Yeah. So what do we got today?
Well, we've had some cool updates. We actually, we've done a monthly or a weekly now. Golly, we do these weekly webinars with agents that are a part of our Annuity Architects training program. And we did one recent where we were talking about the fact finder changes and the updates there. And obviously that document's available for download in the Academy. If you're not a part of it, you should definitely go to agents.retirementrealized.com and check it out, get signed up, use the documents, learn Chad's full sales process, all that stuff. But
I mean, wait. I'm gonna do a shameless plug here. Topo Chico is not our sponsor. You should not be drinking Topo Chico.
Oh, but it's so good.
Yeah, I don't think so. It tastes like sulfur water.
It's it's fuzzy water. It's like fuzzy water. It's like spicy water, pokey water.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But our academy has done so well, and there's so many success stories of people that have just started in the business. They've been doing it for a year, 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, and man, we hear so many great things about it. So I'm telling you. We have a great lead system, that I've been using myself. We're still working out the little kinks here, but the way I look at it is I do scrubbed internet leads and I do non-scrubbed internet leads. So this is a non-scrubbed internet lead. So you definitely have to work more. It's definitely harder to get in touch with people. But you know what? If I can spend $250, $300 for a lead and I can get one deal out of all those leads, I mean, that pays for months of those leads.
Right.
So, become part of our academy, reach out to Caleb, ask him about the lead system. We'll refer you over to a guy named Eddie, and we'll just help you get started in this business. But okay, so back to our regular scheduled program.
Yeah. And that's a good plug. And I 100% echo those statements, Chad. I mean, I've had agent feedback on the academy, and it's been unanimous and it's been resounding that it's the best annuity sales training in the industry. It's unrivaled.
100%.
So anyways, shameless plug there. But
we will sell it right now if you want, though. $10 billion and we'll sell it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it would. Actually, for $10 billion, I would continue for free for the next 20 years. I'd still do the training.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, if you've got that kind of cash and you're listening to us,
Elon, if you're listening, take a fraction of the money you just saved in the Medicare organization and just pass it our way.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Okay.
But we had some updates. You made some changes to the fact finder, and I don't necessarily want to go into the full fact finder. Like I said, that's available in the Academy.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the reasoning, I guess, or the mentality behind some of the changes. Because really what it is as the fact finder, it's a one-sheeter. Okay, one page. You get all the necessary information that you need. You don't want to be using a 5-page fact finder and now the client's freaked out of their mind because you're given this
Yeah.
daunting thing. It's
Agreed.
like it's one page, gets all the financial information. But here's what I love about it is it asks questions in a way that gets the appropriate response without their potentially incorrect preconceived notions.
Yeah. So one
So
of the things I want to do is, and Caleb, you've known me for a long time. I mean, I'm a very direct person, and often I put business before the actual emotional side of things. So what I mean by that, if I haven't spoke to you for a day, I'm going to say, hey, Caleb, what's the status of this, and this, and you're like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Hi, how are you doing? And so often I would find myself in appointments so ready to start and find a solution to a problem without actually getting to know the person. And so the questions I ask on that are very intentional. I want to know what they're feeling, why they're feeling this way. What can I do to alleviate any sort of concerns? How can I enhance or make hopes and dreams happen? And so I moved all that to the front of the fact finder. And I have been very happy with how people have taken it because I want to be the person, and this is my heart. You know this. I want to protect people. I am that to the core. I mean, if you said, Chad, if you want to be known as one thing, what would it be? It'd be a protector. Because if you're in any way, shape, or form being taken advantage of, if someone's trying to harm you, hurt you, I want to be that protector. But the best way to protect is to make sure harm doesn't come your way. The best way to prevent having to defend someone is making sure it doesn't even happen. And so that's really what my fact finder has started to do is let me address the potential concerns up front. What are your hopes and your dreams? And how can we make these happen? And then I go into the actual business side of things.
yeah, I love it. And I think that it does a couple of things, right? So, and like I said, you can go download the fact finder in the Architects program. You can see these exact questions. But the idea here is you're actually opening the door and bringing guard down, right? Because the questions, the way they're worded is specific, right? And I think like I'll give you a random example, one that I've talked about before, right? But the idea of, okay, do you want income or do you want accumulation? Agents ask clients that question all the time. And because of what they've had for the last 40 years, they actually synonymize more accumulation with the potential for more income. So even if they're thinking the end result is income, they think they have to get it by way of accumulation. So they say that. You shift that question to, is this a plan for living or a plan for dying? In other words, are you intending to use this money while you're alive? Are you going to live on this money while you're alive? Or are you going to pass this on to heirs and beneficiaries? By asking that question that way, you get past any potential incorrect preconceived notions that they have about the way either accumulation or income works.
Yeah.
So the way you ask questions is hugely important, but those questions that you've bumped to the top of that fact finder, they break down barriers, they break the ice, they warm the conversation up, so to speak, because right after that, you're going to start getting into financial information. You're going to start diving into what do they have in IRAs, what do they have in employer plans, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, all these different types of accounts. And if you lead right into that, which you have in the past, and it has been successful,
and it works,
but it may not be optimized. And that's what we're trying to get to is how do you optimize this whole process? And it's things tweak over time. When you see something that might be working, but it can be improved, you improve it. And so that's really what we've done with that fact finder.
I think this is the most drastic change I've done in the fact finder, I think, ever.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, there's because I not only removed some questions, I added, I changed them. I completely changed the format by moving questions up to the top, but I also intentionally left some in the middle and some at the bottom. So yeah, I would say this is by far the biggest change I've made. And I would say even from a standpoint of the thought process and then intentionality, I've never put this much into it. And it just came to play where I was literally just sitting on a chair on a balcony, and I was just going, how would I really want to find out the root of someone's concern? I mean, if you're married or you're in a big relationship, if you ever ask something like, how can I make your life better? I mean, that's a deep question.
Yeah.
And what have I done that makes your life more challenging? And I mean, now my wife could talk about that all day long. Well, first of all, I never know if you're going to make it alive home because you keep doing dumb things and you realize that you're, not 50, you're 51 years old, but you still think you're 20. And, I do take a lot of chances, but, I want to sit there and I want my client that their first thought is, this guy really wants what's best for me, and do whatever he has to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
And that it's not about the money. That's a symptom of what you're doing. If you're truly accessing the well-being, like you want the well-being for that person, the sale's going to happen no matter what. But I don't want that. I want my client knowing that, hey, your well-being is first. This is why you and I have spent so much money on the different softwares to make sure we have the best companies, and why we dig so deep into companies and we look at their financial ratings and we look at their rate integrity. We want that for our clients. So yeah.
Well, and what's interesting is, so you're trying to convey this idea that you want what's best for them.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's true. You want what's best for them. What's interesting is the questions that you put in the fact finder actually convey that mentality. So if you're going in as an agent and you're just asking them, so what are you looking to have? What are you trying to do? And that's as deep as it goes. And you go and sell them whatever you think best does that. Are they going to believe that you actually care what's best for them? It's like the questions you ask and your willingness to get into the weeds and get into the depths of their situation, that's what conveys that you actually care.
Yeah.
So a lot of times agents think, oh, I don't want to ask those questions because I don't want to push too far. I don't want to push them away. I don't want them to be scared or freaked out. Those are the very things that give them confidence that you actually care about what they end up with.
Well, the funny thing is I'm not looking to be friends with my clients. Now, I have clients that have become friends, but that's not my first priority.
Right.
When you go into the emergency room, that doctor's not sitting there going, well, hey, so what's your favorite color? What kind of car do you drive? They see that literal, there's an emergency, we have to fix it. Now, if you go to a doctor, a normal doctor, they're like, okay, here's the symptoms, here's a medication that will numb the symptoms, and you probably will not still be healed. If you go to a functional medicine doctor, they're really often nowadays, they're looking at, how do you feel about your ailment emotionally? Because they're really starting to realize how you feel about something often will determine how well you heal. And so if you have cancer and you're going, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die.
You're probably going to die.
You're probably going to die. But if you go, you know what, this is a stupid, nasty disease. I'm going to do what I have to, cut out my sugar, use infrared saunas, have a positive outlook on things, enjoy life, you have a much higher survival rate. So if I go into someone's situation financially, I'm going to sit there and go, what can I do to help you feel better about what you're in, instead of often a very dreary situation.
Right.
I mean, you're 65 years old, you have 150,000 total to your name. That's a pretty dreary situation. Yep. But if I go, but look, your house is paid for, you have 3,000 a month for Social Security. This annuity can bring in another 1,000 a month. You only require 3,000 a month to live off of. That gives a lot of hope to people. Now, you and I both know there's a lot of appointments you go into, no matter what. You're in a bad situation. There's not much I can do about it.
Yeah.
But I think, call it potentially old age, And I'm not old by any means, but I'm coming up on 52. And we talked about this before. I'm just really starting to think about who do I do life with and who do I add value? I
Mm-hmm.
say this saying quite often. I say, what do you want written on your tombstone? Do you want to be known as the jerk? Do you want to be known as, God, that guy was wealthy? Excuse me, that guy was rich. He had this fancy car, he had this big house. Or do you want someone to go, that guy really cared about people?
Yeah.
And so that's where I think this fact finder comes into play is the first questions I'm trying to address is, I want you to know I care about your situation. And now let's figure out how we can make it work.
Yeah. That's so good. I mean, I think about it even when you look at people, are people impressed by the wealth or the riches that somebody has amassed, or are they impressed by character? Most of the
Well,
time,
most of the time, what are you going to say? What do you think they mostly?
well, I'm thinking from what I've experienced and what I've seen. And granted, I've got some fantastic people in my world, so I may have a different outlook than somebody else. But
Yeah.
what I have seen personally is that the riches that somebody has amassed doesn't impress the people that I see in my life. What impresses the people that I see in my life is the character of the person. And if somebody
But
has
see,
riches and
that's
no character,
yeah.
it's whatever.
But that's
Somebody,
your circle. So
well,
that's
it
who you
is
choose to surround yourself with.
totally.
Because if you think about it, for the most part, Hollywood, famous musicians, big business people, they're famous and followed because of their wealth. What they have, this fancy car. And you're already learning this at your age right now, where you're getting close to the 30s mark, and you're
Hmm.
sitting there going, yeah, you know what? I want to value who someone is and what their concerns are versus what they own. And so
Totally.
I know this is way deeper into fact finder than we've ever went, but there's a psychology behind it. And there really is. I love studying psychology. And I attribute a lot of my success to that because I love knowing what people are thinking and why they're thinking it.
Yep.
And I can generally get a pretty good judge of character within the first couple minutes of meeting you. I can generally tell you what kind of person you are. It's not always the case, but I generally can. And so this fact finder is designed to have that at the top where I want to get to know you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
And
guys,
you
I mean,
do.
I'm telling you, jump on our Annuity Architects, become a part of our team. You'll get access to this. It is a very, very, very important tool.
It is.
So,
It's
yep,
I would argue it's probably the most important single piece of the entire process.
100%. And I think this
So,
by far is the best improvement I've ever done on it. And it was just really putting people first, thinking about people first.
yeah.
So, well, I hope this helps you guys. Of course, as always, happy selling.